start with a traditional joke. This is probably my last time using this joke. Some of you may have heard it already. I don't claim this joke as my own. I got it off the internet, but I gave it like a little twist. There's these three girls. Some of you guys heard this one. It's a joke joke. Three girls. They die and they go before St. Peter in the pearly gates. And Peter gives them instructions. He says, okay, three ladies, you guys are about to go into heaven, the most glorious place ever. But I want you to follow one rule when you're in there. If you break this rule, you're going to be chained to the ugliest men you've ever seen for all eternity. So the three ladies are wondering, we didn't read any of this in the Bible. And so they're waiting for Peter's instructions. He said, when I let you in there, there's going to be ducks all over the place. Do not step on a duck. If you step on a duck, I'll chain you to an ugly man. So the three ladies, okay, well, how hard this can be, and how many ducks can there be? So open the door, the three ladies walk in, sure enough, ducks everywhere, more than they even imagined. They thought Peter was playing. So they're walking around, three steps into heaven, one girl steps on a duck. Peter turned around, I told you not to step on a duck. Bring this guy, looks like Quasimodo. Bring him. Says, you're going to be chained to this man for all eternity. Girl goes off crying, Peter goes back to the gates. So the two other girls look at each other like, man, we better be careful. So they start walking, a week goes by, the second girl steps on a duck. Peter comes rushing over there with the guy that looks like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. Okay, change it to this girl, so you're going to be stuck to this guy for all eternity. They walk off, he's like, my precious. Okay, they go over. And then the third girl, she's being very careful. She's like, I don't want to step on a duck, I don't want to be chained to Quasimodo or Smeagol, I'm going to be careful. So she walks very slow, she's kind of dragging her feet, making sure not to lift it up. 1 year goes by, she's feeling good. 3 years go by. She didn't step on a duck. But Peter comes out of nowhere with this very handsome guy and chains him to her and just walks away. And she's thinking, wow, I must deserve this. What did I do? She looks at the guy and says, what did I do to deserve to be chained for you, for eternity? The guy looks at her and says, I don't know about you, but I stepped on a duck. There's a verse in the Bible, Proverbs 17:22 says, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. So I'm going to try to do a little cheering of your heart today just by trying to make you laugh. I was born in 1981, born in the slave days. If you have any older brothers and sisters, you might have been born in the slave days. A lot of older brothers and sisters, they tend to, I don't have an older sister, I have a younger one. She just came up and sang her name already. I have two older brothers, Petey and Mario. You know, when you grow up the younger brother, you kind of take it from your older brothers, right? You get a little bullied, you get a little beat up, roughed up because you're the runt, you're the little one. So anyway, me and my brother, we used to play this game called Slaves. The way it works is we play a video game, we play a football game, we play a basketball game, we bet slaves. So, for example, we're going to play the Street Fighter. So, old video game we used to play Street Fighter. And my brother says, if I beat you, you owe me 5 slaves. So we shake hands on it. He beats me, sure enough, because he was better at me than everything. 5 slaves win, he can tell me to do anything he wants, and I have to do it. So after he wins, he can say, go give me some water. I got to go over there, get him some water, come back, bring him the water. Okay, now I own 4 slaves. Go give me some ice. I slave you to. Okay, I'm going to go get some ice, put it in there, give it to him. So we play all these games, and our friends were included in it. We had this big old pack with about 5 of our friends, and slaves were being passed around. I always won like very, very little slaves, so I was never like a match. I was always slaving everybody. And so there came a time where I said, okay, double or nothing. My brother, I bet him. I owned 10 slaves, and he doubled it up. I owned 20. I was like, man, let me win this back. I'll bet you 120 slaves. Or I bet you 120 slaves. Sooner or later, I owned like 1,000 slaves. I was going to get slaves for life. And so he'll tell me to do all kinds of things. Go get me a grape. I'll go get him a grape. And one time, I thought I was smart, so I was just going to carry the grapes with me so that I could just give him the grapes when he asked. And he said, I slave you to go give me a grape. I said, I have them right here because I want some from that bunch over there. I slave you to. So I could listen to him. And then there came a time where I finally cleared out my debt. I beat him at some game, I don't remember what it was, and I even got a couple of slaves off of him. And I was like, all right, I get to slave my older brother around. So I felt very powerful, I felt very proud. I sat down and relaxed. I said, I slaved you, go give me a cup of water. He said, no. I said, that's not fair. Well, brothers, they have that authority to do that to you. I love my brother. He protected me in middle school one time. He came out of nowhere. I don't know what he was doing out of class, but I was about to get beat up. And he protected me, so I love him. We went through some hard times when we were little, he used to hit me a couple times and, hurt. But I'm glad I didn't grow up in the days of our parents or our grandparents, because I was talking with my aunt a couple weeks ago. She said when she used to go to school, in a religious school, or private school, that the nuns used to hit you, especially for Spanish, because they didn't want you speaking Spanish. And so she was telling me these stories. When we came over here and we went to school, we couldn't speak Spanish. If we spoke Spanish, the nuns would come out and hit you with a paddle. And I was like, wow, I wouldn't want to grow up in those days. I couldn't imagine being in class and over here, and then they hit you with a paddle. Now, nuns are supposed to be God's servants, and back then it was okay for them to do that. That was probably as close to sin as they can get. So they're probably happy that they get to release a little bit, right? I can see them like waiting in class, looking at the Hispanics, just waiting for them to say Spanish. I heard it over here. And then I was thinking, if I was back in those days, I'd speak English real quick. They don't take like one, but I speak English. And I wouldn't feel safe. I'd be very careful about speaking Spanish. And don't think if you out of the class and you're still in the yard, you still better be careful. You be walking in the yard saying, "Hasta luego," nuns jump out of the tree. And not safe. You gotta get outside the schoolyard. Nuns are just waiting. 3 ninja nuns to jump in. Are you gonna speak Spanish tomorrow? No, you said no Spanish. How many guys like football? Yeah. I love football. My dad used to buy me some football cards when I was growing up. He'd come home late from work and have a pack of football cards. We'd open them. So me and my brother, we grew to love football. When we were younger, I used to play football with my cousins, but I wasn't that good at it. I loved it. I loved the sport. I loved collecting the cards, learning about the old players, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. And when we played football with my cousins, the oldest one was like 4 years older than me, and I was always the youngest. I was 1 year younger than my brother. So I was always picked last, and I hated being picked last. Because when you get picked last, it's like, that means that nobody wanted you on their team. You just happened to be last, and so come on our team. And so nowadays, a while back, I used to work for a recreation place. And nowadays, they have you line up in a line, and they say 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's all 1 of those, 2 of those. That way nobody's picked last. But back in the days, it was just, okay, let's pick teams. Okay, and I hated that word, let's pick teams, because I already knew I'm the youngest, I was slow, I was dorky, I was long and lanky, I'm going to get picked last. But there would be those couple times where I hope I do not get picked last. I don't want to get picked last every single time. Basketball, football. And so, here we go, 4 people left. And some of the good players already got taken. I'm thinking, okay, well maybe, they see me improving a little bit. And so we have Michael, Bobby, and Stevie. They're over there, and captain's over here and says, I picked Stevie. I'm like, oh man, 2 more people, I gotta beat them out. And so you start acting like you can play, start stretching and start acting like you can play a little football, start stretching, maybe you can see that I'm flexible, they'll probably pick me. Bobby, oh man, 1 more person left. Him, last one pick. And then when they pick you, they're mad about it. We did, Gilbert. So I'm like, man, at least be happy. Give me a little something. And then, what about when you're captain? When you finally have the opportunity to be captain, okay, we're going to let Gilbert be captain. All the good players start hiding so you won't pick them. That makes you feel, first you pick me last, and when I'm captain, you try to hide. And then when I pick you, I want Mike. Dang it. They're mad that they have to be on my team. Right now it's tough. Some of your cousins, some of your relatives can be tough on you growing up.